85% of the result is determined in the first 15% of the process. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to use a predictable system to transform your wealth. Get ready. You're going to be blown away. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and helping people plan and prepare for a comfortable retirement now for just about 5 decades. I've been doing this more than 48 years. I started in 1974. I'm currently in my 70th year, and I'm going to share with you a very powerful concept that I learned from one of my mentors, Marshall Thurber, who learned this from one of his mentors, Dr. Edwards Deming. And it's how to create predictability in your life. And it's been a game changer for me, and I hope it will be for you also. So here we go. Now, even though I've helped many thousands of individuals from all walks of life prepare for a comfortable retirement and not outlive their money due to the negative impact of taxes, inflation, market volatility, and so forth, and I've been blessed in my life to have written 11 books. I've got my 12th one I'm working on right now. And my 4th one actually became a New York Times and Wall Street Journal #1 bestseller. We were so blown away and grateful for the receptivity of that book, but all of them have been bestsellers. And at the end of this episode, I want to gift you a copy of one of my most recent best-selling books, okay? Now, I've also taught a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, how to create predictable systems in their business, like I learned to do in my own business, educating people on how to have a brighter future, okay? So in this book, it's called The 10 Keys Transformation. I teach that highly successful entrepreneurs develop unique and profitable processes. Almost every successful orthodontist, doctor, anesthesiologist, realtor, CPA, attorney, real estate, it doesn't matter who they are, they usually develop a predictable system. They don't even know it till I point it out. So you're going to see here that system is an acronym that I used. I'm not going to tell you what it means yet, but effective management of anything in life in one word, according to Dr. Edwards Deming, is predictability. Now, who is Dr. Deming? He is the total quality management engineer that transformed Japan to the quality they put out today. Compared to when I was a kid, anything made in Japan was junk or cheap. Meaning, when I was young, we used to make fun of things made in Japan. And Deming, he was telling the big 3 automobile manufacturers here in America, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, if you don't shape up on predictable quality at your factories, you will not be the big 3 someday. And they laughed at him. And that's why, they regret it, because in the 1970s, the Consumer Reports came out and said, if you want the best chance of not having a lemon for a car, make sure it's built on a Wednesday. Well, why was that? Well, because people would come to the factories on Monday and they would have hangovers and they weren't focused. They would make a lot of mistakes on the assembly line. They didn't have a predictable system for quality because they weren't focused. And then Tuesdays, they were in the flow more, and cars were built better on Tuesdays, but Wednesdays were the best cars. It was like a bell curve. The best cars came off the assembly lines on Wednesday because people were focused. It was the middle of the week. They were in the flow. But then when Thursday came around, they started getting trunky for the weekend. Friday, it was all over. And so the best cars were built on Wednesdays. Well, you can probably imagine the havoc that created. People would go to buy a car and they'd ask the dealer, when was this car built? And if it was built on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, or Friday, they wanted a substantial discount, or they wanted the mechanic to go through it. And because of that Consumer Report, well, Deming predicted that. But in the meantime, he went over to Japan and he met with Toyota, Honda, and Nissan and said, you're the laughingstock of the world. I spent 2 years in Korea from 71 to 73, and the worst automobile in the world was the Shinjin. I mean, wealthy people in Korea, they bought Chevys and Cadillacs. Now they laugh at them because the Deming Award is the most coveted award to this day in Japan and Korea, because he created predictable systems. And now, unfortunately, the big three are Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Hyundai, built in South Korea, is the #1 selling automobile in the world for the money. And that's all Deming, okay? So the concept is to create predictability. Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to use a fun exercise that you can use to get an audience to come up, 85, 90% of them will come up with the same 3 words. Are you ready? Okay. I want to see how good you are with simple math. You can use a cheat sheet if you want, but listen very close. I want you to pick a number right now in your head. Any whole number between 1 and 10. Are you ready to do this simple math? Okay, you got your number between 1 and 10. Okay, now double that number. Now you have a new number in your head. Now add 8 to that number. So far, you had a number between 1 and 10, and I asked you to double it, and then add 8 to that number. Okay, now you have another new number in your head. Now divide that number in half. That last number, take half of that number. Now you have another new number in your head. Now subtract the original number you started out with from that last number. Okay, you should have a final number in your head. I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10, double it, add 8, divide by 2, and subtract the original number from that last number. So you've got a final number in your head. Now take the final number you arrived at and pick the corresponding letter of the alphabet that number represents. So if your last number ended up being 1, that would be the letter A. So I want you to pick the letter of the alphabet that number represents. If your number was 2, that would be B. 3 would be C. 4 would be the letter D. 5 would be E, okay? Have you got the letter of the alphabet your number represents? So take that letter and pick a country whose name starts with that letter, and I want you to use the American name for that country, not the foreign name. And let's use a country in Europe or the Baltics that starts with that letter. There will be one there. It'll be towards the beginning of the alphabet. So A might be Austria, B, Belgium, C, Czech Republic, D, Denmark, E, England or Estonia, F, France, G, Germany, H, Hungary, I, Ireland or Italy. Okay, have you got a country? Take the last letter in the name of the country you came up with and pick an animal, a zoo animal that starts with that letter. An animal that's not indigenous to the United States, but you'd probably find in a zoo here. So now you've got a country and a zoo animal that starts with the last letter in the name of that country. Now, take the last letter in the name of that zoo animal and pick a common fruit whose name starts with that letter. You got a country, a zoo animal, and a fruit. I know what 85 to 90% of you came up with. Denmark, kangaroo, orange. Is that what you thought of? How many of you came up with Denmark, koala, apple? Okay, that means you're unique. Now, I just created predictability. Now, let me just say something. If you didn't get 4 for your final number, you need to brush up on your math. But I just created predictability. So when I say Denmark, kangaroo, orange, after doing this exercise, it is synonymous with predictability. Not 100% will come up with that, because sometimes people think Denmark, kiwi, they think Denmark, koala, kiwi, or apple, or something else. But 90% come up with this. It's very predictable. So what does this mean? SYSTEM is an acronym that I use that stands for Save Yourself Time, Energy, and Money by Creating a Predictable System. So here's the system that I've used for years to make a meaningful transformation for my clients. When they come through, Dr. Deming taught that 85% of any successful result you want in life is determined in the first 15% of the process. It took me 3 years to get this. I do not want this to take you any more than maybe 3 hours. Now, before I explain and show you this process, if this is resonating with you, I would strongly recommend you subscribe to this channel. Why? Because I have over 500 educational videos like this one. They're free. And I post a new one almost on a daily basis. So click the little bell when you subscribe. But share, post a comment, click like. These are game-changing principles, and this is about you, not about me. So let me connect the dots and show you what you can do. And I want to gift you a copy of one of my books here. When it took me 3 years to learn this, I was helping my clients go through an 8-step process that I branducated called the True Wealth Transformer. I wanted to transform people because people appreciate a meaningful transformation, not just financially, but in all three dimensions of authentic wealth that you can learn about on this channel. And so this is an 8-step process. It begins with the Enlightenment experience. It's getting it. It's learning, reading, watching. People like to learn all kinds of different ways. So that's why I write books and have this YouTube channel and so forth. And I have a national radio show. But then we would bring them in and talk about their true wealth discovery. Where are they at and where is it they're wanting to go? And then I would show them a strategic design on how to get to their desired destination the quickest, fastest, safest way possible. And then we would tweak it and arrive at their success formula. And then we would go through a refinement process and make it flexible so that life being full of curveballs, that they can make adjustments all the way through. And we would arrive at an action blueprint. This may take 6 months, it may take 9 months, but the entire 8-step process would usually take at least 5 years because we would implement all of the changes. We would set up an equal opportunity trust. We'd set up their financial family bank and make sure that they had some laser funds so they wouldn't outlive their money. And then we would get together for an accountability meeting once a year where we felt like we needed to answer, what have we done to create value for you and your family during the last year? And what do we intend to do during the next year to create value for you and your family? And what makes us unique and why should you continue to do business with us? But we wanted our clients to be accountable to themselves. Are you on track to continue to do things the way you were going to do it and fund it the way you're going to do? Has anything changed that we need to make adjustments? Because we need to be flexible and make those fine-tuned adjustments so you stay on course. Have any changes happened so that we have to make those adjustments so that you are on track? That's the accountability factor. Now, this 8-step process has been so successful, Denmark, kangaroo, orange, for 90% of our people who engage with us. The other 10%, they never followed through. But what was Dr. Deming's concept? 85% of this result was determined in the first 15% of the process. What is that? It's the Enlightenment experience. It's getting it. If you don't get it, then the rest will not happen. But this is just like dominoes, okay? They all fall into place when you get educated. So I'm big on education. That's why I have this channel. That's why I would love for you to be able to learn. But here is the next step. I want you to claim your free copy of this book, Entitlement, Abolition. So here's how you can obtain your free copy. You simply go to entitlementabolitionbook.com and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost. And I'll pay for the book and fire out a hard copy to you. This is 200 pages, 12 chapters. Now, when you do that, there will be options there to listen and learn or watch and learn. There's even an 18-hour master class. But I would recommend that you get a huge discount on that master class where you only have to invest $197 instead of $997 if you attend our Retire by Design workshop, that you will have the opportunity to get a discounted ticket to join our virtual Retire by Design event. So when you claim your free copy, be sure and check that out and register. And you're going to be blown away because what I've shared with you is just the tip of the iceberg of what I teach in that 6-hour course. And once you start there, you'll be empowered to have a brighter future. So go to entitlementabolitionbook.com, begin to immerse yourself in what I call the Enlightenment experience, and you will learn that 85% of any successful result you want with your transformation will be determined in that first 15% of the process, and that's getting it.